Bum, bum, bum. We are live. And you know what? I'm going to play the opening credits because I think Chris is starting to miss them. Were those opening credits stuttering for you? I get the feeling that I'm going to have to stop using Chrome when it comes to you doing these live streams because, well, they keep having hiccups, or certainly things start happening when I start refreshing pages, which I'm doing on a regular basis right now because it's now 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. GMT. And at this point, we really should have had the Wednesday, Thursday schedule. We were hoping for it for 5 o'clock. Looks like that's not the case. Toy Fan says, hello. Hi, Leonard. How are you? I'm fine. I may be a little bit disheveled, but I'm getting, you know what? I'm getting, it just went live, like literally just now. Am I going to hit, right? If it stutters now, it's because I'm refreshing the page. So nothing on the Thursday. Friday, we have a schedule. Ooh, we will be literally, shall we just literally just dive straight in? Very quickly, just to let you know as well, I mean, this is typical. It literally as we go live. So yes, welcome along to this. Is not, it was going to be Talkin Con. For those that are joining us and expecting to see an interview with Chip Mosier, co-founder, co-publisher of Distillery Media, received an email very early this morning, very late last night, basically along the lines of, well, what with our new announcement that we are now distributing with Diamond Comic Distributors and with our preparation for San Diego Comic-Con continuing apace, I'm afraid Chip's just going to be far too busy for us to do the interview. But if you'd like to swing past the booth, that's not the point. It was leading up to it. That was the point of the conversation. But you know what? I can't begrudge them. They are incredibly busy at this point. So we'll let it slide for now. The North remembers. The North never forgets. So, yes, we don't have anything for the Wednesday, which tells me that we are still in that limbo period where we are not getting any pilot episodes, or we're not getting any television stuff from, say, Warner Brothers Television, which is a shame, but fair enough. However, it does look like we have some kind of schedule for Thursday. For Thursday. Oh no, we do have something for Wednesday, which is it's a library thing. Teaching and learning with comics. You will. I'm vindictive as hell. Yeah, you better believe it. So, shall we dive in? Shall we have a look and see what's available on Thursday? We're going to kind of dive into two that we've already known about because, well, DC, as their want, have decided that they're going to announce some stuff early. So yes, they've got their Saturday announcement, or as part of it anyway. Because yes, it looks like Colin Farrell and Matt Reeves are coming to Hall H. So they're doing their Saturday thing. We'll dive into that. Let's just do this day at a time. And let's talk about Comic-Con 2024 on the Thursday, shall we? we'll go through day. So, like, as we go, so I'll just put this in here so you can all see it and a little bit better. Come on, there we go. Alrighty then. I'll also zoom in a bit so you can actually see what the hell is going on. There we go. All right. So, like I say, we only have the programming for Thursday, but it's a fair old whack at it, isn't it? So let's go through and let's see which ones are certainly catching my attention. If you see anything, let me know. Okay, we'll go hour by hour. We're talking from 10 a.m. Doors open. Okay. So we have ourselves. Okay. Ronda Rousey, comic debut with Awa, be treated to an action-packed, candid conversation between UFC and WWE champion, former judoka and actress Ronda Rousey, and actor-producer and former WWE superstar Dave Bautista, as they just discuss Ronda's debut graphic novel, Expecting the Unexpected. Eisner Award-winning artist Mike Deodato Jr. and Awa Chief Creative Officer Axel Alonso will also join in. That is going to be in room 6A. So there you go, straight out the gate. I mean, I wasn't expecting too much when I clicked on Ronda Rousey's name, but no, you've got David Bautista in there as well. How about that? So that is going to be 10 a.m. in room 6A. Okay. This one I kind of knew about. This is the webcomic revolution, will be televised. You've got yourselves Webtoon are going to be doing a bit of a thing in room 4. Do you want me to do it like this, or do you want me to kind of go by room? Shall we go by room first? Because otherwise this could just be a very random kind of thing. Tell you what, we'll do that. We'll go room by room, and then we will dive in. Yeah. Okay, we'll go room by room. So we have in Ballroom 20, starting at 10 o'clock, Spike and Mike's All Ages Festival of Animation. 11:15, Marvel Rivals, the story, art, and sound of the game. We have ourselves a whole bunch of creative talent on stage, moderated by Ryan Penagos. Ryan rules. We like him a lot. So, yeah, getting a look at the creation of the next great superhero shooter game in Ballroom 20, of all things. 12:30, Todd McFarlane talks Spawn movie, comics, and more. Something tells me if you are a Spawn fan, you will have to sit through the Marvel Rivals panel to get to this one. Todd McFarlane giving an update on the Spawn movie, all upcoming comic projects, toys, and much more, with the first Inside the Inside Scoop. With that is going to be 12:30 to 1. So we're talking 15 minutes or so with Todd McFarlane. Let's have a look at see what else we've got. Peacock's horror thriller series Teacup. James Wan, always up for a good show. And Ian McCulloch stars Yvonne Stravonsky, formerly of Chuck, of course. Scott Speedman and Chase Spencer offering an exclusive peek at Peacock's Atomic Monsters, a comic upcoming horror series Teacup. A terrifying tale following the disparate group of people in rural Georgia. Moderated by Damien Holbrook. That will be a nice big show, but it depends how it's going to get, how popular that's going to be. Okay. 3 o'clock, dive into the action of Peacock's Gladiator epic, Those About to Die, with Roland Emmerich, Ewan Rion, Sarah Martins, Mo Hashim, Jojo Makari, and Dimitri Leondis. Moderated by Perry Nemioff. She runs a good panel, so she will know what she's doing. So that'll be an interesting setup. And Star Wars Stories from a Galaxy Far, Far Away with the ever-popular Patton Oswalt. Oh, it's nice to know that he's going to be in town. Humberly Gonzalez, Jay Rincon, and legendary Star Wars voice actor D. Bradley Baker will be in the room to talk all sorts of creativity across the Star Wars galaxy, with exciting reveals from upcoming books, comics, and games. Also, you can get a sneak peek from what's next for upcoming Star Wars books and comics from Justina Ireland, Tessa Grattan, and Cavan Scott. Cavan. 4:15. Yeah, this is the panel, which is the reason why I got my panel cancelled, because Cavan was going to be on that, and Disney turned around and went, "Here, boy. Here, boy," and basically pulled the leash and pulled him away, and understandably. It's going to be a big panel. And Patton knows his stuff. He knows how to run a room. He's incredibly enthusiastic. That will be a nice climatic way to finish off day one in Ballroom 20. That's not a bad lineup. I don't know about queuing up all day. Looking certainly in an early morning if you are going to be a Todd McFarlane fan. If anything, for the update on the Spawn movie, you're talking a good couple of hours to get into that. So I suspect you're going to be having to sit through possibly the Spike and Mike's All Ages Festival and the Marvel Rivals story art and sound of the game, if you are a Todd McFarlane fan. For a Star Wars fan, again, I think you're going to have to sit through a couple of those other panels as well, looking at getting in the room for about 1 o'clock. That, yeah, Toy fan saying great lineup for Ballroom 20 for a Thursday. Not bad, is it? That's not too shabby at all. Like that. Let's go down to the other big room, and there it is. Let's see what Thursday is going to look like. All right, here we go. 11 o'clock or 11:15 start. You kick off with Paramount Animation and Hasbro Entertainment with Transformers 1. Chris Hemsworth is in the hizzle. Brian Tyree Henry, Keegan Michael Key, along with the director Josh Cooley and producer Lorenzo Di Bonaventura. That's going to be a popular panel, although the last time I remembered Chris Hemsworth in the room, and it was a little bit of a quiet effort, was for Black Hat. And I was really pissed off at that point because it was Michael Mann, and I was the only one who was on his feet welcoming the legend Michael Mann to Comic-Con. But hey, no, it's Transformers 1, so the Transformers fans will be out of the woodwork. 1 o'clock for an hour, 25 years of Nickelodeon SpongeBob SquarePants. Way. Tom Kenny, Bill Fakerback, Carolyn Lawrence, Roger Bumcas, Clancy Brown, the man's legend, and Mr. Lawrence, who plays Plankton, of course, were along with executive producers Mark Zaccarelli and Vincent Waller. But special guests as they celebrate one of the most popular characters and beloved animated series of all time. If you are a SpongeBob fan, this is going to be absolutely a must attend. Percy Jackson and the Olympians at 2:15. Walker Scobell, Leah Safa-Jeffries, Arian Simahadri, and Jonathan E. Steinberg and Dan Slott, the showrunners of that particular first show. This is going to be the looking at the first season and what's going to be possibly coming up for any kind of season 2 for Percy Jackson. You may be getting an announcement if you are a fan of the show. That could be an interesting one. But I suspect for this, I mean, that first bunch of panels, I would have said is a walk-in. It's going to be busy, but not mammoth. I mean, your SpongeBob SquarePants fans will come out of the woodwork. Absolutely. It's for these two that you could have quite the queue. What We Do in the Shadows farewell tour kickoff. You are summoned to join America's favorite and vampire roommates as they kick off their farewell tour at Comic-Con. Join the cast and producers. Who that entails, we don't know. We may be getting Taika Waititi in town because he'll be wanting to promote his new effort for Apple TV. I'll keep my eye on the listings for Time Bandits, but that's not that far away. So yeah, What We Do in the Shadows, that is going to be 3:30, 4:30. That's going to be a busy room because us What We Do in the Shadows fans, we like to take over a room. That, however, to be announced. What are they going to be doing on Thursday? At 6:30 through till 7:30 to wrap up that first day. Andrew Dickens saying, "What room is this for on phone?" This is Hall H. Hall H. So let me just if I can go a little bit further in. Oops, is that it? Yeah, I think that's as. Yeah, there you go. That's as close as we're going to get. Right. Okay. So there you go. That's Hall H. Let's go a little bit further down and see where else we got. Indigo Ballroom. Kicking off the day, of course, every single year is the 10th annual musical and Anatomy of a Superhero, along with the heroes. Legends, left, right, and center. I don't know how on earth they do it, but they just absolutely I mean, Ray Costa is just a legend for putting these panels together, and you always get some of the best in the building. Rob Simonson for Deadpool Wolverine, Christopher Lennox for Gen V and the Boys, Leopold Ross for Monarch Legacy and Monsters and Shogun, Michael Abels for Star Wars Acolyte, and Sherry Chung, Found and Gremlins, discussing their scores with clips and conversations, moderated by Michael Giacchino. Wow. Yeah, that's how you start a day in Indigo Ballroom. Hell of a thing. Oh, hello. Can you keep a secret unveiling the secrets of Skinwalker Ranch? Have you ever seen a UAP or witnessed something strange and unusual just can't explain? Join the experts from History Channel's hit series, Secret of Skinwalker Ranch. Never heard of it. It could be something you could walk in on. It may have a little bit of a quiet room on that one, but then again, people will be sitting in possibly on this. 1:45 Collider's producers on producing with Lorenzo de Bonavera. He's going to have a busy day. Kiva Goldsman is going to be in the room, and also Roy Lee as well. Moderated by Stephen Weintraub. More inside baseball, but you're talking three absolute legends of the industry right there. So yeah, hell of a show. That will be a great thing. The Groundlings celebrate 50 years of laughs. Now, for the last, this could be interesting, because the Groundlings are pretty much the bedrock of American comedy, especially when it comes to the likes of SNL. No, you just rattle off any kind of American comedy television show. The Groundlings are pretty much where it starts. LA's legendary comedy troupe, The Groundlings, has been a beacon for artistry and creativity, serves as an incubator for some of Hollywood's most prolific comedic talents. Hear from famous alumni, founders, and current members on how some of the most iconic characters have come to life. Get a look yet at the next 50 years. No guests allocated for that panel. It could be some absolute legends appearing on screen or on stage. We don't know. That could be a good one. That could be an absolute shock and surprise. That could be interesting. Starlight Children's Foundation. This is for joyful distractions between 4:15 and 5:15. We're talking Indigo Ballroom here at this point. Starlight Children's Foundation and a surprise panelist explore how storytelling, imaginative play, gaming, and purposeful fandom bring joy and distraction to us hospitalized kids. Interesting panel. No idea about a guest, so no idea how that would actually, how many people will be in the room for that. It's very deep and a very serious subject. Interesting. And then you have at 5:30. Felicia Day. Nice to see her name kicking around. Felicia Day, Samuel Durning, Stimson Stead, Ben Yenny, David Babbitt, Nicole Murray, all from the cast and crew of the new independent film, Tim Travers and the Time Traveler's Paradox, talking about filmmaker, the industry, and science, moderated by Doug Jones. Some appealing names there. And yes, I think if you are going to be going, you may be sitting through the 4:15 panel to get through it. I'm not going to say that this is going to be a walk-in, but I think it's as near as damn it. That first panel will be packed because that 10th anniversary of the musical anatomy of a superhero is always absolutely bonkers. It's really popular. It's a really nice room as well. I love the Indigo dearly. Yeah, that's a nice little lineup for that particular room. Very nice indeed. See if there's anything that catches my eye as I scroll through. Room 10 for your comics, hardcore panels. Nothing really kind of, there's one or two that's jumping out. I mean, let's see if we can find something of a slightly bigger set. Right, room 23 ABC, Creators Symposium. We've got ourselves the likes of Amanda Meadows, Barbara Brandon Croft, David Constant, Jazz Joyner. Some real hardcore people talking about the highlighting the merit and craft work of marginalized voices. So why is Scott Snyder in there? No, you've got yourself a Comic-Con special guest, Barbara Brandon Croft. I do quite like that you when you have your special guests of the actual convention highlighted at the bottom. Very cool indeed. Excellent. Well done. 2 o'clock, just personal interest for myself. Simon Bisley. He never said he was coming over. Little tinker. I could have had him on my panel. Simon Bisley and Gail Simone going to be talking to a whole bunch of talent when it comes to comics 2000 AD and the continuing powerhouse of horror and romance all across the Rebellion Comics range. That could be an interesting panel indeed, 2 till 3. But then again, it is going to be following a powerhouse of talent. Abigail Jill Harding, Dan Panosian, Ariella Cristantina, Leah Luffridge, Richard Starkins, and Tula Lote, moderated by editor Will Dennis. That is going to be a busy room if you are a comics fan. All of these are really hardcore comics panels. 5 o'clock, you've got Jeff Lemire and 20 years in comics. And yeah, improving speechcraft, hosting and moderation in pop culture. Are they trying to tell me something? Yeah, okay. Let's have a look. We have ourselves 24 ABC, some pretty big names in there. Scotty Young, Daniel Warren Johnson, sorry, and Derek Kurt Kim. Going to be from 11:30 till 12:30. The Beta 20, really? Heidi McDonald, Raina Telmaga, Scott McLeod, and Scott Snyder going to be on stage talking about the 20th century. You know, for me, that could be interesting. I might be up for taking part in that, or certainly joining us for that one. Okay. Any rooms that anyone wants to talk about? Because obviously it's day one, which means it's some real niche panels, but some really interesting ones as well. Flashy Cartoons, Restoring Betty Boop in room 28DE, the Queen of Animated Screen, coming to Comic Con with Max Fleischer's granddaughter, Jane Fleischer-Reed, restoration producer Mauricio Alvado, and the author of The Art Adventures of Max Fleischer, Ray Pointer. Could be an interesting panel. I think that's, for me, a bit of a hidden gem. That's very cool indeed. 6DF. Go on then. Let's swing a little bit further down to 6DF then. 6BCF. We have 6DE and 6B. BCF. I haven't done D because they've split it down to 6 BCF and 6 DE. So tell you what, let's go into 6 DE, which is probably the big one of the bigger one. 10:15, exploring the moon, the Artemis generation. So it's going to be NASA making a successful return to the moon with its uncrewed Artemis 1 mission in lunar orbit and the first commercial lander delivery to the surface. Next year, Artemis 2 astronauts will fly around the moon and back to Earth. It's been 1972 since we landed on the moon, which is when I was born, for God's sake. It's been far too long since we've been back. Could be an interesting panel, that one. Minor Threats, a roundtable with Patton Oswalt and friends. Patton Oswalt, Jordan Bloom, Scott Hepburn, Carl Starks, and Ryan Brown, moderated by Ben Blacker. If you are a Minor Threats fan, heaven knows that book is getting a lot of attention from all sorts of corners, and it's going to be Patton Oswalt. So I suspect the Moon fans are going to be sat in with a lot of comics fans as they get ready for that panel. DC's Absolute Power panel, some of DC's top storytellers. So Jim Lee's going to be in the room. Everyone who's going to be talking about Absolute range, and heaven knows we've had some reveals about that when it comes to Bleeding Cool, who managed to get some covers at London Film Comic Con this past weekend, mentioning no names, pointing no fingers. Spotlight and Jim Lee, obviously he's going to be in the panel previous, so he's then going to stay on stage for his Spotlight panel. That's going to be at 2 o'clock. Ronald D. Moore is going to be on stage talking about Star Trek Next Generation, about Star Galactica, and then all the way through his current projects, Outlander and For All Mankind, and their respective upcoming spin-offs, Blood of My Blood and Star City. That's from 3:13 to 4:15. I can imagine that one's going to be quite a busy one as well. Behind the Scenes with Mondo at 4:30. King of Tricksters Fantasy becomes reality with Umaro Araya, with the film adaptation of the literary character Umaro Araya. Popular worldwide character, so that could be a popular one. Long-awaited film starring the legendary Jason David Frank is set to release later on this year. Bat in the Sun, Legend of the White Dragon. That's going to be from 7 till 8. And then wrapping up the day, 8:15 is going to be Universal Bad Guys, which is Crapopolis, and Universal Basic Guys to Comic Con fans with executive producers Mark Melamutt and Craig Melamutt. When you've got Dan Harmon, who's going to be on stage, returning for Rick and Morty and other bits and pieces as they talk Fox animation domination. So there we go. Let's have a look further down. Let's have a look at some of the other ones. I'm just having a look through. Any other rooms that anyone wants to talk about? Because then I will go to the back and scroll through and see any titles that kind of catch my eye. I'm not going to lie, though. So far, from what I can see, this is a really strong Thursday. This is really, really nice. Room 6A, 85 Years of Batman. This is at 4:15. Jessica Sang, Mark Waid, Michael Uslan, Athena Finger, which is the legacy estate of Bill Finger, of course, and more. Discuss a significant part of Batman's history. Dive into what has made the Dark Knight stand out amongst other heroes for over 8 decades. That's between 4:15 and 5:15 in room 6A. Very cool. Like that. That's going to be a nice panel. And yeah, we talked about Ronda Rousey's panel. Dave Bautista in the house. Get in. Unveiling the VFX Magic's 20th Century Fox Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes with a whole bunch of people, including lead cast members from the film. Freya Allen, Kevin Durand, Owen Teague, and Peter Macon, along with a whole bunch of the technical guys who put together Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. That's going to be a nice panel as well. That's going to be rather cool. Malcolm and Friends, please tell me. I wondered for a second if it was Malcolm in the middle there. Interesting. Okay, let's scroll a little bit further up. Let's see if we can find ourselves a couple of really cool panels to be in the room for. Blog suggested that probably no Hall H on Sunday, so big rooms. No big rooms at all on the last day. Now, okay, we'll discuss this real quickly. So, blog suggested probably no Hall H on Sunday, so no big rooms at all on the last day. They did not open Hall H on Sunday last year. I put that down to the fact that we had ourselves a strike and we had no talent kicking about. Sunday had, up to then, been a popular room for television, Doctor Who, that kind of thing. They have suggested probably no Hall H. I would say that I would hold your breath on that, and I would say Hall H is going to be open. If this is what Thursday is looking like, and this is a nice, rich lineup for Thursday, I would hold off on that statement, and I would say Hall H. No, I'm going to say that Hall H is going to be open on Sunday. That's me putting myself direct in front and center, calling out the unofficial blog. Watch, it's all going to go horribly wrong. Let's have a look at this. 1984, greatest geek year. Big Brother was watching you. So celebrating one of the great generation movie-going years of all time with films such as Terminator, Dune, Ghostbusters, Last Starfighter, Star Trek 3, Search for Spock, Starman, Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom, Red Dawn, Buckaroo Banzai, yada, yada, yada. All of those big, big films with Ashley E. Miller from the co-host of the 430 Movie Podcast. Robert Mayer Burnett, who, to be fair, has been turning into a bit of an angry old man, especially when it comes to Star Wars and Star Trek. He's been a bit of a bugger. So there we go. Andrew Dickinson was due to no queuing post on Saturday night. It may be a case of the stuff that they put in there on Sunday may not warrant a queuing up. So we'll see what happens. It's a good point. It's a good point, Andrew. But we will see how it looks. Michael P's dropping in. Hello there. Have we come across your panel yet? Let me know. Obviously, your panel we'll have to cover at some point. Let's have a look at this. Nothing in room 4. It's for the hardcore. Oh, no, it is there. Which room, Michael? Which room? Trivia for chocolate? Trivia Maven Tom Galloway asks all sorts of short trivia questions. First of all, you remember to yell out the dress out and say, "It's a small piece of chocolate." Hey, like that. That's going to be at 8 p.m. This is going to be in 32 AB. That's rather cute. Brian Talbot in the house as well. Good Lord, there is a fair old Brit contingency coming over. Brian Talbot is an innovator, inspiration, and considered the father of the British graphic novel, which he will tell you himself. If you ever get sat in a room with him, he will tell you exactly how much of a legend he is, and he won't stop telling you until you've either passed out or bought him another drink. Room 9 at 7 o'clock. Okay, we'll go back to that and have a look at it. Okay, room 3 and I think room 2 will be kicking around somewhere. Curious to see what's happening in the how-to room. I was going to be in room 10, so I'm curious to see what's in there as well. Okay, learn how to draw comics. Will Sparticio and Ryan Benjamin and Alex Sinclair holding a hands-on drawing workshop. I'd have put that in room 2, frankly. There we go. Show your story, don't tell it. Maxwell Alexander Drake. He's usually in room 2. What is in room 2 today? It's really interesting. Unleash your creativity in drawing. Tony Sandoval and Peter Han. We're talking to people who know what they're talking about. Masterclass in comic coloring by Brian Hamlin is hosting that. Interesting, especially when you've got the likes of Alex Sinclair in the house, only one of the greatest colorists of all time. Drawing with Todd now to finish off the end. I'm really curious to see what's in room 2. Okay. Lots of interesting panels. Like I say, this is where I'm going to just go. Lots of interesting panels. Marketing movies and writing cartoons. Craig Miller talking about the marketing of some major films in the 1980s. Interesting. Let's go to room 2. I'm just curious. Oh my word. Room 2 does not seem to be open. Okay, so maybe that's just been the one that's going to be opened up. Who knows? Okay. Look, a bunch of Blade Runner panels there. Anything else that catches your eye? Let's go to then room 9 at 7 p.m. because, well, we have somebody who's going to be hosting a panel at shock, horror, surprise. It's an Expanse panel. Yay! This is room 9 then at 7 till 8. Moderator, Michael P., our very own Michael P. in the house, is going to be bringing on the likes of Bob Monroe, Chris Keller, Sister K, Dr. J. Scott Jordan, Chris Blackwood, and Julius San Francisco. The best villains believe that they are doing the right thing. So exploring the nuanced realm of villainy in the Expanse universe, which, if you are an Expanse fan, you know the gray area between hero and villain is always shifting. That is going to be a fascinating panel. And Michael, congrats to you, sir. Well done. That could be an interesting session in room 9. Not exactly a small room. That's going to be well worth attending. Michael Hirsch, business the father of Canadian animation. It could be Marc Vanier, shock, horror, surprise, hosting that one. So we're talking the firm that is responsible for animating such famous cartoon franchises such as Care Bears, Barbie, Magic School Bus, Beetlejuice, Adventures of Tintin, Bernstein Bears. Yeah, we're talking some pretty big names. And how did he do it? It's going to be Michael Hirsch. That's going to be in room 9. Tales from My Hispanic Rick Live. That's the guys from that. Yeah, all well and good. Secrets to the Hunger Games. Costumes. Gloria Kim, legend. And following that panel, which is the Expand panel, Won't You Be My Neighbor, discussing the fandom of Resident Alien, another show which has got a very strong fandom setup, which means if you're going to be wanting to attend that, you may have to sit through the Expanse panel. Not that that's going to be a bad thing, but I think that is going to be a very busy room at the back end of the day. So 2 very strong panels to wrap up there. The San Diego Library is going to be up and running with a whole bunch of literacy and indie comics and niche comics setups. Interesting stuff indeed. Let's go to the top then, and let's see if we can find the ones that really kind of catch mine and your attention. Here we go then. So let's have a look. The Browncoats are back. Excellent stuff indeed. Shauna Trippick is going to be talking about it's dedicated to the late Shauna Trippick. So we're talking friends, peers, students, and fans celebrating the artist and sharing their experience with Shauna. So very much for your Firefly fan in the house. Comic book couples. Is that going to be who I think it is? No, it's not. Okay, Amanda Connor, Terry Moore, Jimmy Palmiotti, Brian Pulido, and Billy Tucci, as they're joined by Abstract Studios' Robin Moore, talking about being a couple and being married to your significant other who is also in the comics book industry. Interesting panel. If I don't see Brad and Lisa in the audience for that, I'll be stunned. I'd be absolutely, I am actually stunned they're not running it, frankly. That would be absolutely up their alley. But there we go. Okay. Worst mistake I ever made. Tony B. Kim. Journey of our professional lives often fraught with more failures than successes, whether it's trying to start a new book or create a new comic or design a new product. Sometimes the results are a complete disaster. However, there's always a silver lining. What an interesting idea for a panel. And some great names as well. Asim Jimo, Amy Chu, Alex Sinclair, Stella Chu. Wow. That is a hell of a panel to just get dropped in the middle of Grand 12 and 13, the Marriott Marquis. Interesting stuff. Well done. Especially when you've got the likes of 10 Years of Magnetic Press as well. So you've got the guys talking about that particular imprint. Dan Wiesenmeyer talking about his work as an illustrator. You have seen his work left, right, and center. Excellent stuff indeed. Okay. Mike Mignola, is he in the house? No, he is not, but there is going to be a documentary about him. It's Mike Mignola drawing monsters. Exciting new announcements, and enjoy a 30-minute preview of the film with 200 limited edition posters for the film, with the filmmakers on hand to talk about the documentary. If you are a Mignola fan, that is going to be one for you. Again, I'm really curious what that 6:30 is in Hall H. What are they going to wrap up Thursday on? Either that or they haven't got anything yet, but who knows? Let's see what they've got in mind. So yeah, something I'm going to point this one out. This is going to be at the Marriott Marquis. This is Marine and D. This is the Comic Creator Connection. It's a fast-paced networking event. If you're a comic creator or an illustrator, if you are wanting to connect with other people that you have an idea that you want to put forward and see if you can get connected to some people who would actually get that project made. I know the people behind it, and I know that that's going to be a really well-run and cool session. If you are a comics creator and you want to get your idea out there, have you got a comics pitch? Have you got a comics idea that you think, you know what, I won't mind getting that out there? That could be a very cool way to do it. Okay. So you want to start a podcast? Go on then, Q. David Avalon. Might have to drop along to see him. Just say hello. But that is going to be 11 a.m. That's at the New Morgan Auditorium. I might just go anyway, just to sort of see what that room's like and how well it's put together. Jim Higgins is going to be there as well, talking about how to put on the best podcast that you can. Well, heaven knows you're talking three guys who know what they're talking about. David Avalon, Joe Slepsky, and Christian Horn. Cool. Okay. Omni Grand Hotel, which I have run a panel in, which means you've really got to kind of know what you're talking about. Okay, you're talking some cyberpunk live play. Interesting. Okay, there you go. That's a very good point. Feels like Comic Con's back to normal, doesn't it? Just some really cool and interesting panels, like I say, held indoors a little bit further on. Paul Levitz is in town, even though he ghosted me from a panel, and it's going to be hosted by Rob Salkowitz as well. So this could be really cool when it comes to really getting under the skin of how the comics industry has been, is and could be in the future. That could be cool. Paul Levitz and the Business Secrets. That's going to be room 10 at 11:30. Andrew Dickinson's Science Behind Dune. Tell you what, I'll have a look for that in a second. Taking Wrestling Beyond the Ring. Are we talking any of those faces again? Nope. Okay. All sort of interesting stuff, including Unreal Engine and Blender. Yeah. Panel descriptions for comic strips. Have we got any names in there? Riley Brown, Ray Anthony Heights, John Barber. They know what they're talking about. That could be an interesting one. This is room 11, by the way. Jeff Trexler knows what he's talking about as well. It's good to see Jeff. I think we'll be seeing him on Friday. He's going to be doing 2 panels back to back. Comic bands learning from the 1950s comic book stare and comics IP Q&A. Hey, that's going to be an interesting one. Is he doing 3 in a row? No, he's not. I thought that would be a little bit of a tough stretch, doing 2 panels back to back. Wow. Okay. Supporting women's wrongs. A couple of special guests in there, but that's going to be a very tough panel to sit through, because I think it's going to be a lot of heaven knows women in comics have always been mislined. So I think that's going to be a lot of fighting. Fighting the powers that be, and they do quite right as well. They need to. So let's see if I can find Dune. Okay, the science behind Dune. Okay, so this was pointed out by Andrew. He wants to know more about this. Is going to be happening in the Omni Grand Hotel. Okay, Arrakis, a desert planet. This complex world, first imagined by Frank Herbert and equally epically brought to the screen by Denis Villeneuve. Feels like it could be real, but could it? Dr. Letitia Jones, Dr. Johanna Varner, Dr. Sam Porter, Dr. Kimberly R. Miner, and Sydney Hamilton help moderator Dr. Wendy Bohan. That's a lot of brain on a panel. Unpacking the stories, science, and tech. Could ornithopters really fly? How realistic is spice and water of life? Could sandworms exist? Would climate change look like for the Fremen? What could life on Dune really be like? Well, we are talking Omni. So it's not going to be a absolutely packed room. But again, I had myself a oops, there's it. I didn't want to do that. Like I say, I did a panel in the Omni. It's worthwhile checking out that room, because it's always got some really cool and interesting sessions, maybe ones that you just didn't expect to come across. That could be an interesting panel in a room full of interesting panels. So there we go. Human Fly 2024. Human Fly, Marvel Comic Series, touting the wildest comic superhero ever because he's real. This real-life superhero is back for an updated foray into a new series. Oh, I've never even heard of it. Human Fly, who rode on the back of jet planes and jumped 26 buses on a jet cycle. I have no idea who that is. So there we go. That could be interesting. All in all, this is a really strong day, especially Hall H and Indigo. I'd even say Ballroom 20's got itself a fair old mix as well. Is it going to be a queuing up day? I would personally say no. But this could be your opportunity to possibly do some walking in on some of the bigger rooms, just so you can see what they're like and get a lay of the land and say that you've done it. Go into Hall H and just check it out and say, I've been in Hall H, it's big. And I saw things in there. I saw stuff and nonsense. So yeah, Ballroom 20, I'd say you're talking a good morning queue up if you want to watch the Todd McFarlane panel. And of course, if you are a Marvel Rivals fan, that could be one to kind of keep your attention. But I'd say panel or so before. Panel or so before. Nothing absolutely kind of getting sort of you're going to be camping out for. Oh, I think we're talking a whole bunch of stuff there. But Hull H, again, nothing there to really absolutely blow your socks off. What we do in the shadows is going to be popular, but just how popular is Percy Jackson? I think you're going to get a bit of a clear out there, especially once you've had SpongeBob SquarePants. I don't think the crossover is going to be too massive on that one. Transformers 1 will get its fair old fan base in. So, yes, early morning, you'll get people in the room just for Transformers 1. And heaven knows it's got a hell of a cast list. So people will be in the room just to see Chris Hemsworth and Brian Tyree Henry. So, yeah, that's going to be a bit of a queue in. But I suspect from there, people are going to start tapering off. And if you are wanting to attend the What We Do in the Shadows Farewell Tour kickoff, you wanting to be in that room a good hour or so beforehand. That intrigues me. What is going to be happening 6:30? Alrighty then. So yeah, head yourself to comic-con.org/cc/things to do. The programming schedule for Thursday is up. It went up at 6 o'clock, so expect the same tomorrow. And I think we'll do that as we cover Friday. Unfortunately, I won't be able to do Saturday because I am working. I've got to earn my flight money, as it were. So I'll be unfortunately holding off on Saturday. Saturday is going to be the big popular day, unfortunately, which means we are probably going to be starting a live stream a little early. We're going to be doing Sunday from 9 a.m. Pacific, midday, 9 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Pacific, midday on the East Coast, and 5 p.m. on Sunday, because I want to spend an hour on the Saturday panels, and then we'll dive into Sunday, which will go live pretty much as we do, or as we would do. Okay, so that's the plan for Sunday. However, there are some bits and pieces that have been announced for Saturday already. So let's dive into these. We've got ourselves... yeah, let's do the big boy first. It is the one that everyone's kind of talking about, and it is DC, who are coming to Hall H on Saturday. Bringing, I don't think so, you can go away. We've got ourselves the Penguin, Absolute Batman, and for San Diego Comic Con, and they are going big. So you're going to be getting the Penguin, tie-ins to James Gunn's Superman, the first merchandise for Creature Commandos, and yes, they're acknowledging the existence of Absolute Batman. So you've got panels, convention exclusives, and all sorts of bits and pieces happening by DC. But certainly the one that people have got their attention is in Hall H on Sunday. You have, on Saturday, sorry, it is going to be 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. My Adventures with Superman. So you've got cast and crew, including Jack Quaid, Alice Lee, Ishmael Said, and Kaina Maedira. That's going to be taking place in Indigo Ballroom. Superman and Lois is going to be happening in Hall H, 11:15 to 12:15. So Tyler Hoechlin and Elizabeth Tulloch saying, I suspect their fond farewells is going to be their last panel coming up. Better than Black Adam 2 years ago? I don't know about that, because the Black panel was fun-ish. It was definitely The Rock doing his best to own that room. A couple of technical hiccups. There we go. But once again, we're talking... oh, interesting. What's happening in the DC Multiverse is happening in 6DE. This is Saturday, by the way. Here we go. That is going to be the panel that they are going to run before Marvel. 5:45, so 6 o'clock is when Marvel happens. Hang on a second. Really? Confirm this for me, everybody. What time does Hall H usually wrap up? I know we have sometimes the panel with Kevin Smith, and that usually wraps things up from 6 till 7, and then everyone kind of turfs out. 6 is late. Could this be the last panel of the day? In which case, where's Marvel? And when are they coming in? 4:45 to 5:45, the Penguin HBO original panel with Colin Farrell, Kristen Milotti, Lindsay Felix, Matt Reeves, Lauren LeFranc, and Dylan Clark, moderated by Josh Horowitz. That's going to be interesting. 4:45 to 5:45. That's kind of late for that kind of panel. Are they going to go literally from that 6 o'clock straight into Marvel? 6 till 7 something or other? Saturday's going to be a very interesting day indeed. Okay. But those are your Hall H panels. That's going to be on Saturday, bookending with DC, Superman and Lois. And then you've got the Penguin at 4:45. Interesting stuff. Marvel, not the afternoon. Could they put Marvel in the middle? Wow. Toby, I'd be very surprised if Marvel isn't doing something for Deadpool this year. At the very least, Fantastic Four. We've been told that Marvel are on their way. We've been told that Marvel are coming. But now it's a case of when. Andrew Dickinson, Kev normally has an off-site at 9 p.m., but the host closed down earlier on. Not seen anything. And I still think Kevin Smith holds a bit of a grudge for CCI for doing that whole Star Wars concert thing to him. And not only that, but he's turned around and said before that there's only so many years you can do standing up there and talking for an hour. So dear. Marvel first thing stops the Hall H hogging. Whoa. Well, no, 11:15, that's going to be the first panel of the day. That's what they're going to open with. So people lining through the door at 10. 11:15 is going to be the first panel of the day. So it's going to be bookending with DC or Warner Brothers. Interesting. Gotham City, walk the dark and gritty streets of DC Universe with top DC talents for news and surprises. That's the room seat DC, so that's your comics panel. And likewise, your comics panel with, 6DE from 12:30 to 2:45. It's all about DC. Okay, 6BCF. Matt Reeves is going to be in that first before he then dives across the convention center to talk with Matt Reeves and cast members Hamish Linklater, Jamie Chung, and Minnie Driver, talking about Batman Cape Crusader. So if you are really wanting to do your DC stuff, you're going to be slightly buggered. You're going to have to pick between Cape Crusader and the Penguin. Wow. Okay. Signings from the likes of Jim Lee, James Tynion IV, Mark Waid, Raphael Gramper, Joshua Williamson, Tom Taylor, Mario Tapaki, and more. And you've also got booths, events as well taking place on the DC booth. So you're going to be seeing, let's have a look, Oscob's iconic suits of the background. I turned around and said that booth was going to be more for DC merch. It doesn't look like it. It's going to be an actual DC booth, and it's a little bit further in the convention center. Interesting. So that's going to be a booth 4545, and certainly at the back wall for that particular event. Cool beans. All in all, some interesting stuff there, but I think that's probably the big news for the day. What is happening in Hall H, and what is that going to just absolutely... Oh, hang on a second. Panelists include Colin Farrell, virtually. Okay, let's take some of the heat off that panel. Colin Farrell is not in the house. Okay, that's a shame. All right, didn't spot that, and I don't know if anybody else had either. But there we go. He's not going to be in the room. Friday, Harley Quinn and Kite Man. That's going to be in room 6BF, so that's going to be a quite big room. Who is going to be there? Lake Bell, Matt Oakberg, but not Harley Quinn. Okay, that's a shame. Jim Lee and Friends going to be doing his thing, but a fair old whack of things happening, especially I think for the comics fans. Absolute Power, All-Star Superman. Oh yeah, a whole bunch of bits and pieces. Certainly for the absolute things. I quite like the T-shirt as well. That T-shirt is going to sell like hotcakes. Of course, your new Superman logo on the T-shirt. There we go. Head to comicbookclublive.com for new updates on that. DC coming to Hall H and indeed San Diego Comic-Con. Cool beans. And the other thing that I spotted as well before I do kind of wrap things up is Skybound Entertainment that are going to be doing panels throughout the course of the weekend, and they've announced those. So day one on Skybound, we have ourselves Invincible. So in room 4, the webcomic Revolution will be televised. We talked about that earlier. Spike and Mike's Festival of Animation talked about that as well. On the booth, signings from Darren Warren Johnson, Joshua Williamson, and Tom Riley. And you also have a whole bunch of other relative things as well with day 2. So you're talking the Friday. Funko Fusion Festival of Fandom. So you know when your Funko panel is going to be, and that's going to be in room 6BCF. You've got Transformers and G.I. Joe, the Energy Universe is here. So that's going to be in room 5AB with Robert Kirkman, Darren Warren Johnson, Joshua Williamson, Tom Riley, and Sean Mankiewicz. Solicitous Meg, lol, includes special guest Colin Farrell. Look alike. Yes. And then on Saturday, in room 6A, you're going to be a chat with Robert Kirkman for an hour from 4:15 to 5:15. And then you've got some signings on Saturday with James Tynion Forth and Daniel Warren Johnson. They're not going to be announcing too much about what they're doing with Saturday just yet, but that's what they've got, the initial information. Find that at Skybound Entertainment or Skybound Ent on Threads. So there we go. Anything else that anyone wants to discuss? We've got 65 people watching across the various platforms. What do you want to talk about? Is there anything that you've spotted in the schedule so far? I know that if you are looking at this and you're wondering just how strong that is for a Thursday, I would say that's back to normal. That's back to what we would expect and what we would know for San Diego Comic-Con. I think that's pretty strong, to be fair. Okay, let's see if there's anything else that has caught my attention. Let's go over to the threads and let's see what people are chatting about at the moment. Okay, DC, the UK channel for threads, they've got their first post up on threads, and it's a repost of James Gunn's exactly 1 year Superman opens and will take over the world. And yeah, 1 year and counting. Hang on a second. In 1 year, Superman opens all over the world. We are going to be having another DC takeover. Superhero takeover of San Diego Comic-Con. Cool. Interesting stuff. And let's see what else we've got. Let's go across to a bit of a refresh. Here we go. So we've got people talking about, of course, the news that the Penguin are coming to Hall H on the Saturday, and they've got themselves a nice poster as well, which is available. Or Colin Farrell talking about having that Penguin panel. Who knows? You could be getting yourself a nice little poster if you attend. So there we go. Yeah, you've got yourself the people talking about King of the Planet of the Apes. Like I say, that was an interesting looking panel. I think that's rather cool. And hello there. If Michael is still watching, you've got yourself a poster, mate. And that's you. Excellent stuff. Well done. Bridging the Expanse, the villains with a hell of a lineup of informed talent, talking to Michael P. about the grey area of the villains of The Expanse. Very, very cool indeed. But it is the panel which people are talking about, and yeah, it is getting very close. And there is going to be okay, Lego fans are excited. Now, someone has pointed out to me a article kind of responding to the Forbes article, the likes of wait till it all comes back on, the importance of especially considering you. Well, there has been a response as such. This is from the San Diego Tribune. It's every single time that I go and launch a new browser window. So bear with me. But no, yes, Dan Berry did share this with me. Spotted on the San Diego Union Tribune business page. Comic-Con agrees to stay in San Diego through 2026, but warns high hotel rates threaten future years. This may have been... Your tabs must be updating. Yeah, well, they are. I want to just return to the homepage. Get rid of that. No, I don't want to see that. Oh, dear Lord. This is what happens when you have to wade through adverts. So with 1 year remaining on their convention center contract, Comic-Con organizers have agreed to stay in San Diego through 2026, but are raising concerns that rising hotel prices and too few affordable rooms could stymie plans to remain here for years to come. And we've got this bloody thing up on here as well. Go away. I don't want to disable me. And it's getting very choppy as well at this point. Oof. Sorry about that. But no, the article itself, it kind of reads along the lines of that they are going to be getting themselves, they're staying in San Diego, but the threat is still there. If the hotels don't sort themselves out and certainly start dropping some prices, then they are going to have to start reassessing what they actually will do with staying in town. So yeah, it's a kind of understandable article, but there we go. People talking about Tyler Hoechlin and Bitsy Tulloch attending the Superman and Lois panel on Saturday. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. But I'm stunned that people aren't talking about that the Max panel for the Penguin is that time on Saturday. Surprised more people aren't talking about that, purely because, well, that is a time frame that would usually be for Marvel. So when are Marvel going to show up? If Marvel do Thursday, that could blow a lot of things out of the water. That could be an interesting... That would be an interesting setup. Marvel rocking up on Thursday. I mean, we are talking about the around the day, the day before the actual release of Deadpool Wolverine. So they may want to talk about the actual film before the film comes out. That could be interesting, couldn't it? Okay. Right, back again tomorrow. We're going to be around the same time, around the same kind of time, 6 o'clock. As soon as the panel drops, panel schedule drops for Friday, we will do that. We'll go live and we'll talk about it again, and we'll do all of this for an hour, talking about the schedule. Again, Saturday, unfortunately, I won't be able to do a show, but we'll go live a little bit early on Sunday, and we'll just cover the whole thing. That is a bit of a reach, dude. Andrew Dickinson could be a showing in Hall H. Now, it's going to make its money. Deadpool and Wolverine is probably going to be the film of the year. Probably. It's going to be up there. But to drop a screening in not the best conditions, I mean, they do their absolute damnedest to make it a pretty solid screening for trailers and whatever, but the sound ain't great. Doing a screening for Deadpool Wolverine is a bit of a reach. I like your enthusiasm. I like your optimism. Don't think it's going to happen. So there we go. So let's just make the biggest problem with moving is finding a place you can take over a large chunk of city space like San Diego, combined with having a large enough main convention center. Correct. But then you've got LA. LA could do that. Everyone at SDCC will have bought tickets already. Not going to lose money, are they? True. I don't think I want to see it in that room. I want to see it in a cinema. There we go. Let's have a look at this. That's my take on screening. I don't want to see it that way. Yeah, it's ambitious. The last time I remember there was a TBA that no one really knew what it was. It ended up being Christopher Nolan showing up with Matthew McConaughey for Interstellar, and nobody knew it was coming. And I was absolutely rocking because I think I showed up with Neil Williamson, my friend, and we just sort of we sat there and just said, we have no idea what is this. This is fun, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome Christopher Nolan. Please welcome Matthew McConaughey. Hello, what the holy hell? Let's have Matthew McConaughey come on stage. Yeah. I'm in this film, and it's been made by an absolute genius, an absolute legend. Please welcome on stage Christopher Nolan. I was on my feet, and that was a TBA. That was something else. Solicitor Smeg, a bet more on a surprise outdoor screening an after party type event. Now, here's the thing. The Raddy, I said that they were doing something on Friday. They're actually doing 2 nights. They're doing 2 concerts for anime music and manga music. It's happening back to back on Friday and Saturday night in the Raddy Shell. So that space is taken up. Curious to what's going on. So with Life of V, if it were a big outdoor screening party set at Petco Park, that could be fun for the experience, but I don't want to see Deadpool and Wolverine in the Pal Room. Agreed. Also, I don't think they'll go anywhere near Petco Park again. It's just too expensive, and everyone's, like the hotels, are screaming to get some money back post-COVID and post-lockdown, and they're still playing catch-up, and heaven knows Petco Park was charging through the roof before COVID kicked in. So, no, I don't think you're going to see anything in Petco Park ever again, purely because it's just too expensive a place to put something on. So there we go. Andrew Dickinson saying, reminding us about Tom Cruise with Top Gun 2 in 2019. He just rocked up out of nowhere, didn't he? Yes, I wasn't in the room for that, unfortunately. I think that was the year I didn't go. But, that was a bit of a drop. He just sort of showed up and dropped a panel. Although, does anyone remember that? When Tom Cruise rocked up on stage, he did seem very kind of robotic. He's like, welcome to Earth, humans. Yeah, it's like he had just stepped out of a session with Xenu up the road. Very, very weird indeed. That was so strange. Andrew Dickinson, I walked out as he walked on. Was that deliberate? Are you not a Tom Cruise fan? It's Tom Cruise. I'm out of here. So there we go. Oh, what happened there? So there we go. Okay, that's us. Thank you very much indeed. Back again tomorrow, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. GMT, as we do Friday. day 2 of San Diego Comic-Con listings. Let's see what Friday is looking. For Thursday, that's a pretty strong lineup. That's not too shabby. Let's see what Friday brings. It's looking like a strong year so far, especially with the announcement about DC and Max taking the Penguin into Hall H. Could we see Borderlands? Could we see... Well, we know Borderlands is coming. Borderlands is going to be in there. So it's where? In the middle somewhere. So where's Marvel? It's all getting exciting now. We'll find out exactly where things are. Thank you very much indeed. Take care. I'll see you tomorrow for another one of these. From us to you, I'll see you for Friday's panel listings. 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. GMT. Me to you. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.